All right. Hello, got another video for you. It's been a while. Sorry, got life getting in the way. But today I've got something a little smaller than what I typically show off, and it's this. It is a 1982 Toshiba KT-S3 Walkman. Well, Walkman was just a Sony name for it, but this is their model. I got this for $5 at a flea market, and what a deal because this thing is incredible. It doesn't have the straps, but I have another Walkman that can do that. Came with the leather case, and it has one really interesting feature that I'll show you. So, as with most portable players, it's got well, actually, not most have this. The cheap ones don't anyway. It's got play, stop, and eject, and then fast forward and rewind. And this yellow button is the hotline. Well, it actually says TS, which means talk switch? I think that's what it said in the manual. It's a talk switch, and you press that, and it so you can see it works. I'm not going to be able to play anything from it, unfortunately, because it's kind of logistically difficult. But what this does is if you're talking to someone, or if someone talks to you, and you want to hear what they're saying, you press this, and it kind of lowers the volume, so you still hear the song, but it lowers it so that you can also hear what they're saying. It's really neat like that. I love this thing. It's a beautiful looking device. It's large. It's not like those later '90s ones that were very small. There was also a KTS1 and a KTS2, which in my opinion don't look as good. Now that's just my opinion, but I would actually rather have this one than the other two. So when I first got it, it did not work. It had a belt that turned to Jello inside, so I had to replace that. And after that, it works perfectly. Nice, large, visible door. Unlike the other, I like being able to see the reels turning. And you see, it's got the two headphones there. So it actually has two pairs of headphones, so you can listen to it with both you and your friend. And you'll notice it has a radio. Now, there's no radio dial. There's nothing you can turn to change the channel on this. So you might be wondering how exactly that works. And before I show you that, this is all this is a nice plastic, but the door is metal. And you'll notice, let's say I'll eject it here. It's a very well built. It's all heavy. It's a very weighty device, and you might be noticing some strange things that you don't see anywhere else. First off, it's got these contacts at the bottom, which is unusual. And another thing is it's got this door, this see-through. You can actually reach through that. It's open. So what would be the point of that? Well, if you already have one of these, but otherwise, this is gonna be really cool. I'm glad this came with it because I wouldn't want to, have to buy this on its own. But check this out. Ready? You want to see the radio? This is the FM stereo tuner pack, and basically it's a radio self-contained inside a cassette. So you put this in. You have to lock it in, and suddenly this is now a radio. And you can see the tuning dial is now through that door. So if I switch it to radio, the play button, then it stops the motor and it goes straight to those contacts. And you'll see when I get to oh, you know what? There might not be any FM stereo down here. When it gets into, oh, it's on mono actually. When you get to a stereo channel, that light lights up. I don't think there's any. Oh, there we go. Now, of course, it does much better with the headphone jack, which is also kind of like the antenna. But that's such an elegant way of figuring out something like that. It's very 80s with that kind of circuit board design. The only problem with it is you can't eject it with the eject button. It's got a hole in the side. It supports metal tape, no Dolby noise reduction, which is okay. because I don't really use that anyway. It's got a nice light that turns on when you have the battery stuff, um, and again, it fits wonderfully into this leather case. And all in all, this is just a really beautiful, self-contained personal stereo. I've been actually listening to it a lot because it's just so nice to hold in your hand. It's so nice to walk around with. And there it is, the Toshiba KT-S3.